They did it. Nintendo, thank you. You finally come through with the announcement that we've all been waiting for, the Nintendo Switch successor. So I slowed everything down so that I could see all the little intricate details, all the little things that maybe not everyone would see. I wanted to get into the nitty gritty and I wanted to get everything. I wanted all the details, everything that may have been leaked, whether it was true or not. I wanted to find out here officially from Nintendo's, not mouth, but pixels. So we're going to start here. Did I slow down the stream? Let's go to custom 0.25 speed on YouTube in glorious 1080p. Here we go. I have some notes on the side, so I'll be looking at over there a little bit too. Here we go. Wow, 1 second is really slow in quarter speed. Jump to the Nintendo Switch that we're all used to. Nintendo Switch Gen 1? What do you even call it now? The original Switch, the launch Switch, the OG. You hear the sound, how slowed down it is. Okay, so the Joy-Cons have come up off the rails on the Switch. And next we see that the tablet, the Switch tablet, the console is bigger. They're showing us the size difference here. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? If I go back for a second, I'm looking at it and I'm like, but if this is the new Switch successor, the sequel to the Switch, it still has these bezels. And it could be just the rendering. It could be just a taste of what the old Switch looked like. And all they've done is stretch it out. So I think that's what it is. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's still bezels on the new one. But I think this is not an image of the new one. This is just the old one stretched out. So let's continue. We see they're showing us kind of like glitter, but they're going to show us kind of the texture of it. And here's the sides, what used to be rails in the first one being cut out. Yeah, you can see kind of, it looks kind of like a graphite, like a... All right. So here, I wanted to say, okay, so we're taking a look at the very bottom of the Nintendo Switch console. I know it's not done loading yet, but what we're looking at is we're seeing two JIS screws here. So they're the typical Japanese screw. It's kind of like a Phillips, but they don't exactly fit the same. Two holes that are not cutouts, but they're like guides for it to dock properly in the dock. And then a hole in the center, which is going to continue to grow in a second. So below that, can you see my mouse on screen here? Yeah. So here, maybe you don't know if you're watching for the first time, but this is where you're going to be able to stick your finger in here to open up the back kickstand. That's what that is. And on the sides here, we're seeing holes for probably vents for airflow. I thought at first, oh, maybe those are for the speakers as well, but you'll see soon that it's not. So let's see what happens to this central hole here. But let's take a look at the texture here as well. So you can see, I wonder if it feels more grippy, if it feels textured, or that's just the look of it. Because the original Switch is smooth, and this is different, and I think this is nice. So let's see what's next. There's the USB-C port on the bottom, which is absolutely expected. Now here's the top of the console. We got a power button and we got a volume rocker. No surprise there. Now this, I wanted to mention this. There's this circle. It's, I don't know. To me right now, it's a mystery. I think it could be something like, what did I say? I think it could be, it's kind of like what's the word? Is it transparent or translucent or opaque? I think this could be something like maybe a light sensor. For the screen brightness or dim. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be something like that. Or I was thinking, you know what, maybe that's like an IR for the console. And I that brings in more questions like, why would you want IR on the top of the console? Unless you believe one of the rumors, which could be that it's the Switch successor sequel, is going to be kind of like what the Wii U handheld screen controller tablet was, where it's two pieces. So we got the one in the hand like a controller, like a console like this, and then one far away, so the Nintendo Switch sequel dock, or like the Wii U had the controller tablet, and then you had the actual console connected to the TV ahead of you. I'm wondering if this is supposed to be for communication between the two, but I don't think so. It's kind of small. I think it's more so maybe a light sensor. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Moved a little fast here, so that there's another screw, another JIS screw, some more vents here. And remember, this is the top of the console. This is a second USB-C plug, which I love. If you think about when you're handheld, for example, and maybe this is not the best example for in this case, but if you want to charge your console on the bottom and you want to use any other kind of USB-C accessory, so one that I'm thinking of, like any of the recent Android phones, for the most part, don't come with headphone ports anymore. Like this Nintendo Switch you can see on the screen here does have a 3.5mm jack for a headphone, but my phone doesn't have that, so it has a USB-C port. So I got a USB-C headphone, wired USB-C headphones, and of course you could get Bluetooth, but I don't know if Bluetooth is frying my brain or not. Of course, I also live in Wi-Fi, so it's all killing us, right? But anyway, I have USB-C headphones, so while I'm charging at the bottom, I could be using the top USB-C port for headphones or whatever other accessories. Maybe more accessories will be announced in the future that will use the USB-C port here, which would be really cool. And again, headphone port, love to see that. Beside that, looks like it's going to be the cart reader, and I was confused, like, why we're right here. Yes, you're showing the USB-C, yeah, headphone port, but right beside that, this has to be the cartridge slot, right? The cart reader. I think it has to be that, but they didn't show it to us here. I don't know why. And now I'm seeing these engravings come through, and this looks like the back of the Switch. There's a little rubber nub there, I guess to help with tabletop mode. And this is the kickstand. I think it looks great. It's large, looks like it's much more sturdy than the original, obviously. However, maybe less sturdy than the OLED kickstand. The OLED kickstand is thick boy and big, but I think probably good. Now, it's very interesting. This, I don't know if you want to call it a hinge, but what is all this? Is this designed to? Is it some kind of system that was engineered to create friction for when you're opening, so that it doesn't flop down? Or so maybe it creates some friction so that it's like a slow, or it stays strong. I'm guessing that's what all that is. Otherwise, I don't know what the point of all that material is. And it gets down really low. Get low, get low. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Now we're spinning around. Ooh, Joy-Cons. Before we spin too much. So we're here looking at so this is the bottom again. And one thing that is new that we didn't see yet is these two holes here, which simply just got to be for the speakers. It's got to be what it is. So otherwise, everything else, yeah, we saw. So here we go. Joy-Cons. Top. Now, there's one thing that I saw. So, okay, so here's the cartridge slot. Headphone, USB-C vents, another JIS screw, this mystery thing, and this one here. And it could be nothing, or it could be, I was thinking maybe it's a microphone. Maybe they put a microphone on the console. I would think they would probably put microphones on the Joy-Cons. However, on the new controllers, because they may not be called Joy-Cons. It would be smart for them not to be called Joy-Cons. Everybody has hate for Joy-Cons from the original Switch, so they should definitely change them. They didn't have microphones in the original Joy-Cons, and I don't think they're going to continue forward by putting microphones in there either. Maybe it would make sense like PlayStation did with their DualSense controller. Maybe it would make sense for Nintendo to put a microphone in the new Pro controller. But otherwise, I think a microphone on top of the Switch kind of does makes sense, at least in a handheld state. So we'll see. Maybe there's a new what's it called, Dogbone Joy-Con grip, but for the new controllers, maybe there'll be a microphone in there, or maybe it's going to be Bluetooth and you're going to have to connect your own peripherals to it. I don't know. So anyway, this is a mystery right now, and this is a mystery right now. However, I think it could be for light. I don't know. We'll see. And we're at the original Joy-Cons. Actually, let me go back. I wrote a couple notes on the screen bezels. Let me see if I can see that now. Okay, so here, so originally I said, the bezels look really large. Like the very first, the OG Switch had large bezels around the LCD screen. The OLED has much smaller bezels, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, these are even smaller bezels now. So I think the original thought that there's still large bezels on this new console is wrong. So this looks good. All right, and here we get the first official look at the controller. So the right one is all black, same buttons, except there's a mystery button. Okay, so we got the home button there. We got the analog stick, A, B, X, Y face buttons, and the plus. It looks like there's the R button at the top, and then the home button, and then a square, mystery square. Now, there were some rumors / leaks showing an image of that bottom square. I keep forgetting I can use my mouse. That button right there had a C on it. So like it was the C button, kind of akin to the GameCube and the Nintendo 64 C buttons, the C stick on the GameCube. But right now, officially from Nintendo, we're not seeing anything. It's a blank square, so who knows what that could be. There's some rumors that it could be a cast button, which would kind of support the idea that you're holding the Switch, the sequel successor, in your hand, and you're sending information wirelessly to the dock. Maybe from that button on the controller, maybe that mystery circular translucent hole at the top of the console. Maybe that is, or maybe not. Let's see. So here's the size difference between the two. If I was a lot more sciencey at this moment, I'd be able to do some measurements and see what the actual size of it is. Some people are saying that the new tablet screen is like 8 inches compared to the original Switch was like 6 inches, something really. So look at that. That's a good size difference. I think it's going to be much more comfortable to hold that way for most adults. There's a little switcheroony. Still no. Why did I say switcheroony? Still no real D-pad, which that's okay. I mean, it makes sense because of the design of the console that if you turn these controllers at this way, when you're playing this way, you need these two buttons, but also you need to be able to use like here these buttons however you need to use them. So if it was a D-pad, you may not be able to have as many buttons to play with like what you need A, B, X, Y on the other side here. You need something similar on this side. So that's why there's no D-pad. But okay, so 2 all black so far controllers, which we're not calling Joy-Cons. And actually, if we look, let me go back for a second. We can see the design. I don't know if design is the right word, but the style. It's much softer. The curves, if we look at what I would call the corners here, it's much more subtle or much more curvy or much softer as opposed to it. It's a little bit more harsh here. This is softer. I think it'll fit the curves of like a hand better this way. Looks good. Now I was looking at this joystick, and I was thinking, wow, it looks exactly the same. That joystick cap looks exactly the same. But then I grabbed my Joy-Con here. Maybe it won't focus, but it's not exactly the same. So these ones, the original ones, they're kind of a little bit higher in the center and lower on the sides. Whereas we take a look on screen here, this one, it looks like the center is lower and then the sides are higher, which I think your thumb or your fingers or whatever would fit better in a groove like this, and you'd be able to have better control, better grip on this analog stick, the way they've designed it now. So I think that's cool. Now, going back to the original Joy-Con, I probably won't be able to show it here, but underneath, I don't think it'll focus. Underneath, it's just kind of open space. They did put in some plastic that kind of block things, but if we take a look at what they're going to show us here, they've done some new engineering. So they've got this plastic, and in this case, it's this peachy, pinky, corally color. But it looks like that has been put there to protect, so to shield or to block anything from getting inside. So things like dust, dirt, Cheeto dust, stuff like that, stuff that would get in and ruin the controller or cause analog stick drift, things like that. It's blocking those things. So I think they did something really well there, protecting our sticks. But as well, that could also not be the case. It could just be purely visual. A lot of these new Windows handhelds have just like LED lights around there to look really pretty. And maybe that's just like a color. They just want it to be cool. I think it's kind of protective. I think it is really, really good design choice. But there's also a rumor that these joysticks on the new Nintendo console are Hall effect sticks, and which means that they will not be drifting. It won't have the same problems as the old potentiometers on the old analog sticks. So maybe it's not exactly the same. At least you're still protecting anything from going inside there. But that's just a rumor right now. We're seeing some color fill up the inside of where this will connect to the console. And it's a grower, not a shower. So here we get the first official look of the inside, or whatever you want to call it, of the connection part, the mating surface of the controller that will go towards the console. So they've colored it the same as the outside ring. This is like I'm calling it like a peach. Maybe it's a pink, coral, neutral, nude. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so we got the same still SL and SR buttons. We've got that sync button here. And then this and this. Now, there's rumors that these are attached to the console by magnets. So I could imagine these are the magnetic surfaces, but this one just looks so different. So this one is just flat and basic. And if we just go back for a half second, it kind of shows... Does it, or am I maybe I'm too far? Maybe I haven't gotten there yet. Oh yeah, right there. So if we take a look here, it looks like it's actually two pieces, and that would just make me think, why would they show it that way? And why would it be built that way? Why wouldn't they just have two like this? I'm wondering if this centerpiece is actually going to protrude. Is that the right word? There's a button on the back of this controller that you're going to press to separate it from the console. And I'm wondering if that's just a physical plunger that when you press the button, this pushes the controller away from the console. Right now, I don't know. I haven't looked into a lot of the leaks, so maybe that information is out there already. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We still got 4 LEDs to tell you what controller you're using, so I'm guessing same as before, they expect you to have friends to play with, which is weird. Now let's take a look here. So I see this connector. I like the way this connector looks. It looks large and it looks sturdy, thick. It's not like the old Joy-Cons, which are just this tiny little thing in here with little wire electrical connectors. This looks big, beautiful, and I think it's gonna be strong. It'll hold up against abuse better than the original ones would. Even though I didn't hear of many Joy-Cons there being this damaged, more so just the sticks going bad. But beside this connector, there's something here, and there's a mystery going on right now about what that is. So I saw it was just a little hole, and now we're looking at the next controller. So we're gonna revisit that again. Here we go. So on the left is the blue, just like it looks very similar to me, if not the same blue. Maybe this is more of a light sky blue compared to the first to the Joy Cons on the original Switch. There's that mystery hole again, so we're gonna get a better angle of it in a second. Blue, sky blue. The left is still the minus side controller, and the right is still the plus side. Down here is a tri-wing screw on this controller, and I looked here and I was seeing this, and I saw this on the other controller, and I was thinking, wait, that looks exactly like the IR port on the original Joy-Cons on the right, or on the right hand side Joy-Con. And I'm like, wait, is there still something to this? But we'll revisit that. Here's the, what is this, the share button? Joy-Con sticks. These are not Joy-Cons, analog sticks is what I meant to say. And here we go. We get a good look. Okay, here's this mystery hole. Now, what is that? What could that be? Right now, we don't see it with power going on in the controller. So if it's what people are saying, they're saying this could be an optical sensor. So I'm thinking like optical sensor. That's like what's inside your mouse. I don't know if this one lights up red, but you know how computer mice used to. Yeah, this one doesn't light up red. So it looks like that's what that is, which is super interesting. Like maybe that's the gimmick for the Nintendo Switch successor, this console, is that it's something to do with this. And they were saying, you know, people will be able to use these controllers kind of like a computer mouse. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? How would you? But we get to that soon. And here's a good look at the connector in the center here. I think it does look more sturdy than the originals. The way that the Joy-Cons were connecting to the original Switch. Here's a good angle of the top buttons here. Here's the button. I think we're going to get a better angle anyway. But here's the button that you're going to press to remove these controllers from the Nintendo Switch successor console. And then here's the this would be the ZL button, and this would be the L button here. It looks good. Some markings on the back there. Here's a different look, better look of the, what do you call it, like the remove button, the eject button to eject the controller off the console. And it does say ZL here, so this is ZR on this one. And some markings, which I won't be able to read here. But there are images online of those markings. So if you need more information, maybe we can find it there on the internet. Let's go. Here's a good look of the two colors beside each other. And I kind of tried to match that here. So there's like some little blue LEDs here and kind of a corally pinky here. So yeah. Yeah, so here's the design I was talking about. So I was thinking, oh, maybe there still is an IR sensor at the bottom of the controller, but I don't think so. It looks like it's just the design of the shell, just kind of like the forming of the shell. It's not anything like any IR stuff down there like the old one had. Good protection. We can see nothing's going to be getting in there from the looks of it now, but actually they're going to show us something a little bit different soon. ABXY buttons. Sorry for the terrible sounds. This slowed down video, it just makes the sound terrible. So I turned the volume down as much as I could without turning it off completely. And we got to look there on the other side of the other side controller, that it also looks like the same type of IR port. This is what I wanted to see. So right here, so it shows that black plastic piece, it's only so long. I don't know what you want to call it, like a skirt. It's only so long, and then there's still something here. So it looks like they've designed it in such a way that, and this is the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Maybe we have to take apart every controller that's out there to figure it out more. But it looks like they're just trying to keep as much out of the controller as possible. I'm guessing Nintendo Switch was used by a lot of children, and so snacks and dirt and things would get in and ruin stuff. So I think they kind of try to engineer against those problems here. Here's another look. Other controller, the right side controller. Here's the plus symbol. Another tri-wing screw. So I see a screw here, screw down here. I didn't notice if there's screws on the back, because on the original one there was, right? Yeah, there's 4 on the back. If you can see, yeah, 1, 2 on that side, 2 down here. There's screw holes on the back, but I didn't notice that on this one. So far I only see 2 here, as well as there's kind of like, I don't know if this is a divot or if this is just a shadow, but it looks like there's something here in the forming of the plastic. And this is a big reveal. Big reveal. Here we go. This is like, what do I want to call it? Surfboard? Bam. Just like with the Joy-Cons, we had these plastic pieces that would hold the, what is this called? Cable? Nylon? Rope? Whip thing to attach to the Joy-Con so that you could be able to it attaches securely, and then you're not worried about throwing the controller into your TV because the strap is connected to the controller, connecting around your wrist. So it looks like they have this here as well, and it's colored the same as the colors of those controllers. And if we take a look here, it actually says it has a plus symbol here, so it matches up with the mate of the plus here. And then there's a button here. So my guess is there's that button to release this skateboard, surfboard, plastic protector thingy off of the bottom of this controller. 4 holes for windows for the LEDs again. Let's see what else they got. We take a look. There's some spacing in here, which tracks because that's where those SL and SR buttons are, those white buttons there. The buttons on the new controller will be there, so they have space cut out for your fingers to press the buttons there. But if we look at this thing, is essentially, we can see some black, maybe plastic. There's something black here on the bottom of this shoe or surfboard or skateboard, whatever you want to call it. There's something black here, and it's either just video, just design, or it's actually a real black plastic thing there for this to float on, because as you're going to see soon, this actually kind of moves around. Oh, I went too fast. I wasn't paying attention. So we'll see, this one is the plus on the right hand side. Here's the other controller. And did I get it? You can kind of tell here. So this is the other controller. So this is the left hand side. So this is the minus controller. If you take a look at the like on the Joy-Cons, the minus is on the left, the plus is on the right. We just saw the plus on the coral pink one. Now this one, that means that this controller, the left controller, the blue controller, is the minus. But if we're taking a look here, you can see that there's a plus symbol here, which means, just like with the other little grip plastic things, you can switch from one side to the other, which means you can get really funky technicolor-y here and switch the blue plastic skateboard over to the coral side, and then the pinky corally surfboard over to the blue controller by just flipping it around, which is cool. So let's take a look at what they do now. So these things, they're actually moving around, kind of like surfing, kind of like skating, on a desk, which totally tracks with the rumor of it being optical sensors, like kind of like a computer mouse. You know, it moves, and that optical sensor is picking up the movement. So I think that's the gimmick. That's one of the gimmicks, at least for this new generation, that is successor for the Nintendo Switch, is that. And we're seeing it move around like literally like animals, like mice. Like that's its tail right there. It looks like a rat, like a little Stuart Little. That's what it looks like. Good picture of that probably release button, the R button, ZR it must be, and then that release button down there. Here's one thing. Where do I see it? Here. So if we take a look here, if we compare, actually, okay, so we saw how it came off those snowshoes or skateboards or whatever we want to call them. Am I gonna? So the R button, L button, uh, it looks much longer. It goes farther around the curve or around the corner, down very close to like where the A button is here, as opposed to on the old one. Can you see here? On the old one, I know it won't focus because my face, but it's much higher. So the buttons are longer. Probably makes it easier to activate, easier to press, and that's good. That's good engineering. Make things easier. So we see the connector on the console side on the Nintendo Switch sequel console, and it's just a beautiful connector, basic, but it looks sturdy compared to the old Joy-Con, how they connected. So it looks tough. Do I think someone's gonna break it? Absolutely. Again, these are video games. Video games are often used by children. Children typically don't take the best care of things. They don't understand that. And I think this thing sticking out like that is asking for trouble. Will a lot be damaged? Maybe not. I think it's going to be same thing. Children, people that aren't paying attention to it, but I think it's going to happen. I don't know. Hopefully not. We'll see. And it gets colored in. This is cool. I don't think we've seen this before. It gets colored in the same color as the side controller color on the inside, and at the top it shows. I'm pointing to the screen like you can see what I'm doing. If I use the mouse here at the screen, at the top of the screen, you can see that this is the minus side, which is the same as that controller, same color as the left controller. So that's the mating surface. That was like a good snap sound at the end of this. After I turn off the slowdown, I want to hear the snap sound. I like it. I like it. Easy, just attaches. Just it looks like they specifically put the bottom in first. I don't know if you have to do that. Probably not, but at least that would be a good guide. It would be safe. They're doing that on both, so they have specifically shown us attaching the controllers to the console by slipping the bottom corner in first, as opposed to just ramming the controllers straight on that way. So that's a good way to guide it safely, by putting one corner in first, seating that, and then just having the rest of it attach in. Especially because it's magnets, it's going to attach where it needs to attach. But that's where I see some people will be damaging it, is just trying to kind of like just jam it in straight onto the connector. You're not going to line it up perfectly. So I'm wondering if there's anything else in that way that's going to prevent the damage, other than you always remembering that you have to connect the bottom corner first. I don't know how that's going to go. Looks good. All black. Black is beautiful. And then you can kind of see. So obviously you see the color here around the joysticks, but you can kind of see the color of the inside of the plastic piece on the controller on both of them. You see the blue here. You see that coral pinky, beigey, nudie color there. I love the way it looks. There are definitely bezels. These have to be bezels. They don't, it's hard to tell right now, but they don't look too big, they don't look too bad. But I love the way this looks. It's all black, it's beautiful, it's nice and smooth. It looks like the middle evolution of a Pokemon if the Nintendo Switch consoles were Pokemon. Like it looks like the Wartortle to the old Squirtle. And there it is. The name of the console. The 2 Nintendo Switch. Officially named by Nintendo, 2 Nintendo Switch. Obviously, this is the Nintendo Switch 2, but good joke. Actually, I didn't look at the old logo. I wonder if it's different or if it's the same. It looks the same. Looks great. I love it. Some people are saying that the actual buttons, the face buttons and the D-pad buttons, are larger than the old Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, which would be great. I mean, easier for everybody, easier for adults, easier for children to hit a larger button than a smaller one. Definitely, like my entire thumb, my thumb could cover essentially the entire directional buttons or D-pad buttons just easily on the Joy-Con. So hopefully these are a little bit larger. I think that would be a good design choice. Nintendo Switch 2 or 2 Nintendo Switch. I'm going with 2 Nintendo Switch because that's what they did. They did that. You couldn't have just put the words above the 2 in the symbol, really? And what is this? Mario Kart. So on the side here we see Mario Motors, Luigi Tires, Mario Kart, and then here, so this looks like it's the next Mario Kart game. Does that mean it's because on the Nintendo Switch, we've had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the entire 8 years we've had the Switch, and actually 1 or 2 years in the Wii U generation. Mario Kart 8 was the Mario Kart game for the Wii U generation. We didn't get a new game for the Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart game for the Nintendo Switch. So they're showing what looks to be a new Mario Kart. We see here Mario Brothers Circuit. I don't know if we've ever had that before. I haven't been big into the Mario Kart games. I do enjoy it, but I don't know the lore of it. And I'm thinking this is a new one. Now, does this mean they're going to, if it's a new game, are they going to call it Mario Kart 9? Or do they call it Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart X? Because technically, they actually call Mario Kart, what was it called? Mario Kart Tour, the phone app, the phone game, the 9th Mario Kart game. So this could be Mario Kart 10 and Mario Kart X, or it could be Mario Kart. I'm not sure exactly, but we're going to find out. Not today, though. Oh, let's go back for a second. People are saying there's a lot of racing spots here. So we see 1, 2, 3, 5. We see 10 players on the, what do you call this? Circuit, the road. But we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we see 6 times 4, 24 spots. Does that mean we can have 24 players in one match? I don't know. That's a lot for a game to handle, especially on Nintendo console, which is typically weaker than a lot of other systems. But maybe right now we're seeing 10 players. So we'll see. Do you think these carts have Mario Motors and Luigi Tires? MKTV. It's a me. Looking good. And there's the dock. What you would expect from a Nintendo Switch dock, eh? Nintendo Switch 2 dock. A little bit more curved. I keep doing that with my hands. A little bit more curved in the corners again. Softer, beautiful. But either this dock is smaller. We know the console is bigger, so maybe the dock is the same size. But it's all this space. All this space is open. Why? Why? You saving material, plastic material, or what? I don't like that. It's not protecting the console. It's not nice. Unless they have something that we just don't see yet that they're going to show on top of the screen while it's docked, but I don't think so. There's the bezels. Oh, let's go back and see. Can we see the bezel? Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, you can. There's the bezels on the screen. I didn't even notice it. That's all right. Looking good. One cable here, one little LED here. Oh, wait. One cable. It has to be 2. We're going to have an HDMI to go from this to the TV and then something to power it. I don't think it's going to be one cable. There's no way. And there's the old Joy-Con grip, the new one for the Nintendo Switch 2. The dog, what do I call it? The dog bone style grip controller or something or other. It looks to be almost the same as the original one. Let's get a better look here. When it lands, we can kind of see it better. So see this angle? You can see there's like a sharp, flat angle here. So if we go back for a second, we'll see without the controllers on it. Oh, not too far. So we can see inside here, it's colored the same way. So you've got the blue for the left, or the minus right there, the connector, and it's flat. It's sharp, flat, and it's actually a black, glossy, shiny. You see that? See, there's a reflection there. It's a shiny, glossy plastic. I want to know, because we just saw what looks like a connector in there. Is this going to be wirelessly connecting somehow to the dock or to these controllers, or is it just a plastic grip just to hold it? And then there's these 4 circles, and I'm wondering, are those magnets to hold the controller onto the grip? We will find out eventually. But what I was going to say is that sharp angle, it looks like it's going to be uncomfortable. It's because it's going to be a hard plastic where your hands are gripping the controller. I feel like that's going to be uncomfortable, but we will see, I guess. And they show it here, popping off the top. So I'm guessing that's exactly like they were showing before. You have to start by attaching it at the bottom corner. You put the bottom corner in first. That guides it in perfectly, so you don't damage the connector. That's my guess. And that's where it's going to disconnect from. So you're going to press that release button on the back, and it's going to disconnect the top off the grip or the console, whatever it is at that time. I think, did I miss something? Yep. I had to go back here. I saw something on Twitter, and I was just like, no way. If we take a look at Donkey Kong's face here, what the hell is that? They did DK dirty. I think this is the one from one of the last games, or from the movie or something, but that ain't it. That ain't it. That's a fail. But anyway. This is Yoshi's. I guess it's Yoshi's restaurant or diner. We're going to count the players because I think there's more players than we thought. Okay. All right. 1, 2. Oh shoot! I gotta go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like 15. So more than the 10. Does that mean they're all going to be able to be people players, or will there be some bots? We don't know, but we will find out one day. Looks good. Oh, these rocks are like mushrooms. That's kind of cool. This is it, man. This was the trailer we've been waiting for. 2025 release. We're assuming it's the release. All the rumors have been pointing to the release. Actually, release in March, but it's not happening, which we'll see here, or maybe the next part. This console, the Nintendo Switch 2, plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games with an asterisk. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. It shows that they are the same cartridge, so they were using the old Nintendo Switch cartridges into the new Switch. So the new Switch can play old Switch cartridges. Confirmed. Does that mean that the new cartridges for the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games will be the same? At least the same size. Probably. Most likely. That's what it seems like. Like with the 3DS and the DS games, I think the cartridges were the same. Gotta go back in time here. It looks great. You see this image of people's hands on the controller. It just looks more comfortable. If we take a look at the Nintendo Switch on the left, they're obviously smaller. You see where it sits here, kind of juts into the weird fleshy part of the thumb here. Down here, it covers essentially the whole hand. Here you can see where the R button, shoulder button ends all the way here. Up here, it's much higher. Just these things that we were talking about earlier. It looks good. It looks comfortable. It looks like it's got big bezels. I don't want big bezels. And the direct for the Nintendo Switch 2 is April 2nd, 2025. Earlier, I think the UK tweeted out that it was 2/4/2025. People were like, "Oh yeah, February 4th." In this case, it's not. It's April 2nd, 2025. We will get the direct, and just skipping ahead, there's going to be the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, and these are we saw it separately, I think, on Twitter or on the website or something, that they're going to be going around to different areas in the world and doing the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, where you're going to be able to have it hands-on, play with it, maybe play games. Who knows? Probably, if it's hands-on on a hands-on game console, handheld game console. So I did see that the closest one to me will be the Toronto one in Canada. So we're gonna try to go and get those tickets, hopefully. And that's it. We did it. We got through. We saw, I think, every single detail we could have seen. I think we saw everything. And I think we didn't miss anything. I'm hoping, but if you saw something that I didn't see, please tell me. Leave me a comment as well. If I'm wrong about something, or if you know some of the leaks that I didn't mention, please let me know. I'm really excited about this console. I hope you guys are too. I know this is kind of like everyone's been waiting for a number of years. This is the 8th year of the Nintendo Switch, and now we got the announcement for the Switch 2. Which is really cool. We've been waiting for a long time for it. People have been frustrated with the Nintendo Switch with how not strong of a console it is and how old, how it shows its age. It still does a lot of good, but we're definitely ready for a refresh for a new console. I'm definitely ready for it, and I just can't wait to get more news on it coming up. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sticking around with me for almost an hour, 48 minutes, and just I really appreciate you. Subscribe, like, and maybe I'll make something else that's good too. Hopefully. Hopefully. Thanks.